I'm Mary from Country Chic Paint. In this video, I'll be demonstrating a few distressing techniques that are very popular on furniture. There's really no wrong way to distress. You can use a damp cloth, sandpaper, or a beeswax bar for the resist method. Follow along for more tips on our techniques. I'm going to be distressing this chair with sandpaper or a sanding block. This paint has been left to dry for about 24 hours. You want to let it dry as long as possible, make sure the paint adhered really well before you start sanding. I can scratch it with a nail and nothing's coming off, which lets me know that it's ready to be distressed. This is our color Cheers. It's a beautiful wine purple and it goes really great with this embroidery. Going to be using either a sanding block or sandpaper. We recommend finer grits so you don't scratch the surface or the paint or the wood. If you're worried and haven't distressed for the first time, it's probably best to start with a discrete area of the piece like the back or a leg. So I'm just going to go right here, working along grooves and edges, anywhere where time would have naturally worn and bumped this piece. And you just want to apply just a little bit of pressure to start with. The more you apply, the more dramatic your distressed effect will look. Keep your cloth handy just so you can wipe away the mess and see how far you've gone. So I'm just going to go in with this paper just on the finer details, and you can see pretty soon how it gets that nice old aged weathered effect. This is a great way to reveal the natural wood of something or just to give it an old weathered effect. You can go in different directions if you like. I'm just going to go up and down for this. And it goes along grooves as well. Don't worry about any scratches or the white marks that appear from using sandpaper on matte paint. The damp cloth will just wipe those right up. When it dries, it will be nice and clean again. And if you find that you've removed too much paint, don't worry, you can always just paint over that spot and try again. You can even go in on these details and just rub right across. Don't need to focus too much on the inner corners because natural wear probably wouldn't have happened there. And that's the sanding method. If you're enjoying this video so far, please show your support by giving it a like or sharing with your friends. If you have a piece of furniture that you've painted and you want to add another color for a shabby, distressed look, the beeswax bar is a great way to do it. This is 100% natural beeswax and it is a great resist medium. The tools you need for this are our beeswax bar, some sandpaper, and a damp cloth. This beeswax bar can develop what we call bloom, which is crystallized oils from the wax. This is 100% natural and doesn't affect the performance of the bar. You can always heat that up and it will go away. By applying a resist medium like wax over the first layer, it will prevent new paint from adhering wherever you put this. So I'm just going to start off by using this wherever natural wear would occur, just like we were distressing. The simple method behind the resist technique is just using wax in between two paint layers so the new paint layer won't adhere where you've applied the wax. You can always wipe away the flakes before you paint. Once you've finished distressing with our beeswax bar, you can go straight to painting. I'm going to be using Peachy Keen over Whoop-De-Doo for a nice pink and blue shabby distressed look. You can just apply right over the paint and the beeswax bar. The resist method works best in between coats of paint. So I've let the first coat of Whoop-De-Doo dry, I've applied my beeswax resist medium, and now I have just finished waiting for Peachy Keen, this lovely coral, to dry. Now it is time to take my fine grit sanding block and just distress over the areas that I applied that beeswax bar on. The heavily waxed areas won't have paint on them, and that pretty blue just pops right out. This is a really good technique to use if you are trying to just capture those two paint colors and you don't want any of the wood underneath peeking through. Keep in mind the pieces that are distressed using our beeswax bar for the resist method shouldn't be sealed with water-based top coats. Instead, consider leaving them as is or sealing with natural wax or hemp oil. I love how easy it was to use the beeswax bar. Let's move on to wet distressing with a damp cloth. For this chair, I'm painting a couple coats of Rocky Mountain, our nice dark charcoal gray. About 2 thin coats will give me the coverage I need. Next up is wet distressing. This is probably one of the easiest and mess-free, no sanding required, just need a damp cloth. It works best with freshly done paint, so this has just had about 20 minutes to dry. I'm not going to let it dry much longer, and I'm just going to get right into it. For wet distressing, you can either use a damp cloth or a scouring pad. Some might find if the paint has had too long to dry, the scouring pad will be a little easier. All you're doing is using the damp cloth to work up some of the fresh paint, and it creates a lovely distressed effect. So I'm just going to start off with the corner. Again, if you're a little nervous starting out, maybe try the back of a piece or the leg instead. So just a little bit of pressure, and it's coming off right away. I like wet distressing because you have a lot of control. You can either use your whole hand or just a finger for pressure, and it creates a really nice weathered effect. And again, no wrong way for distressing. You can do as much or as little as you like. I'm going to start with the grooves and natural wear spots, just working the paint up. If you find it's coming off very easily and very quickly, you might just want to leave the paint to dry just for a little bit longer. And I'm already liking my distressed finish. Some parts had already dried really well, so I went over those with the scouring pad. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching!